Okay folks, this is my Toyota Camry 2014, and what I'm going to attempt to do is get the oil changed on it, and I'll see if I can show you how I do it. As you can see, the maintenance required light is on, and I have about 30,000, 3288. Okay, the first thing I do is let the car warm up for a few minutes to get the oil warm. You don't want it too hot, but you want it warm. Now jack it up and put a jack stand under it to help hold it up. This is a 2.5 liter engine. It uses the 020 oil. Okay, we're going to go into the car now, and this here is your oil filter. If you look down from the pan, this is your oil drain plug right here. I get stuff to focus in on it here. Okay. So we're going to start with the oil pan plug. Okay, the oil pan plug is a 14 millimeter. And you just put it up on there and bolt the bolt. Put your pan up under there and you unscrew it. And you let your oil drain. That'll take a few minutes. Okay, while your oil's draining, if you noticed up on my pan, the gasket is up here. There's a gasket up there. You gotta make sure that gasket's okay and it's not cracked. Sometimes it comes off with the plug, but in this case it didn't, but it seems to be pretty secure and it doesn't look to be cracked, so it seems to be pretty good shape. So I can go ahead and reuse it. I believe the book says to replace them, but this one looks okay to me. Okay, the oil's quit draining. We put the plug back in. We're going to put the socket on it and tug it, tighten it up. Snug it up. Okay, the oil filter on this car seems to be a two-stage. The bottom part takes a 3/8 ratchet extension or a ratchet, and you unscrew the bottom, and then there's a cap you put in there to drain the filter holder, and then you come back with another filter adapter and remove the case. This adapter here that I'm putting up in the hole, it comes with the oil filter that I bought, and it helps drain the holder that the oil filter is in. This part is a little bit messy, but it just goes up in the hole and it helps it drain it out. So you let that drain till most of it comes out, and then we'll come back for the second part. Okay, when it's done draining, you just pop off this white drain plug, and then you go into the next adapter. This is an adapter I bought special for removing this filter. It's 3/8. Just fit it to the filter and you unscrew it. It's easier with two hands than one. I'm holding the camera here. You just unscrew it until it gets really loose. And then you can finish the rest of it with your hand. Alright, it's starting to get easy now. Okay. And then we're going to change over to the hand, and we're going to pull this thing down. Just plastic. It seems to be a plastic type stuff. And it just drops right on down. Inside the filter holder, you wipe it down, make sure there's no gaskets left up in there, no O-rings. Okay, before I do anything else, this is the bottom of the filter. This is the top before I remove the old one. Okay, if you notice, there's two gaskets. And there's one that's under the first nut that you took out with the 3/8 drive or an extension. Okay, so that one comes out. Make sure you have both of these, because if you don't, there's another one right here. Right there, if you can see it. So right there where my finger is, there's another gasket right there. Okay. Alright, it sits right down in the chamber. Sometimes it locks down. It just pulls up right out of the hole. If you see in there, that's just the bottom of it. Both sides look the same. Okay, just set that aside. And I wipe down the inside a little bit. Just make sure there's nothing in there. Okay, this is the new filter and the two gaskets that comes with it. I highly recommend replacing them because you really don't want it leaking. And to me, both sides look about the same, so I don't really think it matters which way it goes in. Okay, I just take myself a picker or something like that, and you notice there's a little notch right here. You can put it right in there, and then you just pull the gasket right on off. Okay, the gasket comes off. Then I would wipe all this down, make sure there's no dirt, because this outside is exposed to the weather, so I would wipe all this down. And we'll start putting it back together. Look real close where that notch is right there. You see there's a big gap right there. That's where the gasket goes. It goes in this big gap. Don't put it in the threads. Put it in this big gap right here. Don't put it in the threads, okay? Okay, you slip it over top. And you just push it right on down all the way around into that big groove. Okay, and the new one that goes in the bottom just sits right down on here, and you put your cap back on. But before I put the cap and stuff back on, what I do is take the new oil and I lightly oil this little gasket and the one you just put on here. I lightly oil them so they make a good connection and they go up a little easier. Okay, so I got a little oil on my finger, and I just put a little oil on it and roll it on my fingers. Okay, then you can put this bottom piece back on. The screws on. This is one you took off with the 3/8. Make sure the gasket's set up inside that hole now. Nice and square looking, and you put this 3/8 back in there, like so. And we'll finish tightening it up in a little bit. Okay, the gasket, I get a little more oil, and I run oil all the way around the gasket. Okay, it's on my finger, and there you go. Okay, you stand it up, and you take your new gasket and you just set it right down in the hole. It's got kind of a spring to it, so when you put it in, it does push in a little bit. Okay, see that? Okay, we're ready to go back up. Just take your filter and you put it up in the hole. And you screw it up in there. So, your special socket on, and you snug it a little bit more. Okay. Snug it up. Okay, it stopped. Okay. Take your torque wrench and you put it up in there. And there you go. I think we're done down here. To clean it up a little bit, I think we'll be good to go. We'll take a peek up there, make sure there ain't no gaskets hanging out anywhere. I don't see any. I don't see any. Alright, looks like we're good to go to the top. Okay, we come up here to the oil cap, take the oil cap off. Set that aside, make sure the gasket's on there. Okay, we get the funnel. We drop in our oil. Okay, we just dump in our oil. It holds 4.5 quarts. So you gotta take your time. Don't want to make a mess. Okay, after you put your oil in, take off your funnel. And you wipe it down a little bit. Put your cap back on. And you want to start it up and let it run for a little bit. Make sure the oil light goes out. And then we'll come back and check for leaks. Okay, we'll start it up. Okay, all we have is a maintenance required light, and we're going to be turning that off in a minute. Looks good. Let it run. Okay, check to see if anything's flattering anywhere. Nothing up here. Okay, I'm going to take a look under here. It's running. Okay. Let's see anything dripping there. Okay, we're going to take a good look at this. See if anything's dripping around it. I see nothing around it. I don't see anything around the 3/8 section nut there. So we'll let it run for a little bit and you can come back and check her and make sure she's okay. While you're under here, take a look around, see if you got any dings, scratches, bent pipes, anything that might be a problem. Take a look at the drive shaft, see if the boots are okay. Dings under here, so it looks like we're good. Okay. Alright. Still no leak. Look in here. Grip. Up. There you go. Okay, while the car's warming up, I take a look around and make sure that all the fluids are filled. Make sure the washer fluids, the radiator seems to be at the good mark right on here. Look at the hoses, see if anything's leaking or anything dripping anywhere. Take a look around the motor. Anything dripping or leaking. Okay, and look around here. Look over the master cylinder, make sure it has fluid in it. And check for the lines on your master cylinder and see if it needs to be filled. This one seems to be okay. Check your battery. Okay, your battery, you take off your caps. Be very careful, this is acid. You take a look down inside the holes and make sure they're filled. Pull up to the bottom edge, not to the top, but the bottom edge of the tube there. It looks good. Left side. And there. It looks good. Terminals aren't corroded. Take a peek under this. Looks pretty good. Not corroded. going to top off our washer fluid here. There we go. There it is. Okay, that's good. Okay, while the motor's off, take a look down at your belts. Make sure they're not dry rotted or cracked. And these look to be in pretty good shape. I don't see any cracks. It almost looks new. Okay, look around, see if you got any leaks or drips. Okay, let's check our oil out here. It holds about 4.6 quarts plus or minus. Check your oil level. Camera's going to pick it up, but as you can see, it's pretty well full. Okay, what I'm going to try to do now is show you how to turn off the maintenance required light, which is that light there. Okay. It says to hit your button with the key on like that. Not the car started, but the key on. You hit the button until you get to trip A. You hold it in. You turn the key off while you're holding it in. Turn the key back on while you're holding it in, and it should flash all zeros, okay? I'm going to try to do this. I only got one hand. And that's it, folks. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and change my air filter with my maintenance, and it seems to be very simple. Just undo these tabs, and then you lift up on the corner of your cover, and it comes up out of the hole. Be careful not to damage any of the equipment back in here, but it seems to be fairly free to lift. Okay, you lift out your filter. Look down in your air box, make sure there's nothing down in there to get in the way of anything. Okay, I vacuumed out the most as I can get out. It looks pretty good. Okay, you get your filter. Make sure you put the corner, it says a square corner, the rest around. Put your square corner up at the top here. Make sure it's up there at the top. Okay. Okay, after you get the tabs in the back in, you push it down and it goes flat. Make sure it's flat all the way around. These tabs are in the hole. Okay, then you lock your locks back, your tabs. 1, 2. Double check and make sure some of your connectors didn't come loose or something didn't come loose. Everything looks good. And that's it. Okay, folks, what I used to do this job was my torque wrench. Here's my torque wrench, screwdriver, 3/8 bar, 3/8 ratchet. I used the special adapter for the Toyota oil filter holder, a 14 millimeter. And I got a gasket set. I try to stick with the original stuff. So, and you need about 5 quarts of synthetic. 0.20. Also, I like to add, check your handbook. It tells you the things I'm telling you. Recycle your oil, wear your safety glasses, wear gloves. Try to keep the oil and things off of you, and use the right stands and the right jacks. You know, safety is number one. You know, recycle your oil filters.